Hello, and welcome to this lesson. Today, we're starting the module on detoxifying your sexual subconscious. Before diving into the topic, it's important to understand what the sexual subconscious is and how it affects your life, and mine too. To do that, we first need to distinguish between the conscious and unconscious mind. Without complicating things, 95% of the time, you're on autopilot, and only 5% of your actions are truly conscious. This unconscious part dominates most of your day-to-day life, including your sex life. When we talk about detoxification, we're aiming to eliminate everything negative and keep what's positive regarding what you've learned about sex throughout your life. To get results with this method, you'll need to pay attention to details and be open to trying new things. So, to start, have a notebook and pen ready. We're going to begin by writing down the words sexual subconscious. Everything you think and feel about sex is related to your sexual subconscious. Now, I want you to take a moment to reflect. Close your eyes for a moment and think. What's the first image that comes to mind when you hear the word sex? Open your eyes and write down that image. Describe it in as much detail as possible. For many, it could be a positive experience or even a memory of a moment of failure or fear. Your sexual subconscious is shaped throughout your life, and it starts in childhood. Now, we're going to begin an important self-reflection exercise to map out this journey. Take a sheet of paper and draw a horizontal timeline. This line will represent your life, starting at 0, your birth, and extending to your current age. On this timeline, mark the moments when you first encountered sexuality. This could be the first time you remember something related to sex, any sexual reference you had in childhood, all the way to your first sexual experience. Describe each of these events and how you felt in each one. Remember, the goal here isn't to judge, but to understand the feelings you had and how they shaped your sexual subconscious. All right, now that we've got a grasp on what the sexual subconscious is, let's get to work. The next step is to map out your entire sexual history. I know this might seem a bit intense, but don't worry, this is just for you. No one else needs to see it, so be as honest and detailed as you can. First, grab the paper and pen we talked about. We're going to create a timeline of your entire sexual life. On this timeline, you'll mark the moments you were exposed to sexual experiences, both good and bad. Note the characteristics of each of these moments, how you felt, what was happening. Now, let's talk about your first time. I want you to describe in detail how that experience was. How did you feel? What emotions were involved? Don't hold anything back. Remember, this is just for you, so be sincere. And finally, let's talk about your relationship with masturbation. How did it start? How is it today? This is super important because often your relationship with masturbation can directly impact your current sex life. So take the time to write about this too. Understand this. Your brain, which controls everything in your body from your heartbeat to your orgasm, is a master at automating things. It also wants to protect you from bad experiences. If, at some point, sex became something negative for you, your brain might be trying to protect you by preventing you from having new sexual experiences. But instead of helping, this is hurting you. Most men think the problem is in their body, in their hormones, but I'm sure you've already had tests done and found that everything is fine. The problem is in your mind, in the programming your brain has created, and that's what we're going to reprogram here. So, let's recap. Create your timeline, describe how your first time was in detail, and talk about your relationship with masturbation. Write it all down, because this is the foundation we're going to build on in the next sessions. I need you to understand that your sexual subconscious has both good and bad things, but in some way, it's trying to protect you. The problem is that the protection it's giving you isn't working because it's actually stopping you from having the sex life you want. This lesson is dedicated to doing the exercise, reflecting, and understanding what's going on. At the end of Module 1, we're going to do a hypnotherapy session where you'll put on your headphones, sit in a comfortable place, and we'll work on removing all the negative stuff from your sexual subconscious and replacing it with new, better things that will help you automate the erection process. And one more very important thing, if you don't do these exercises, nothing will change in your life. You've invested in a natural method without medication that promises quick results, but that's only going to happen if you do your part. I'm counting on you for this, and if you have any questions, reach out. I'm here to help, and I'll respond discreetly.